I'm Morey White.
I'm Bob Nelson.
I'm Tracy White.
I'm Pastor Johnny Leckie, and this is the Compass Conversation podcast. Welcome, friends, and all of you oldies around the table.
Useful.
For episode number useful. We will follow you. You have the name above every name. We will follow you, King Jesus.
I like being useful.
Dead.
And we're back.
Episode number 1503.
Oh, did we already do it?
Yeah, we did. We're rolling. We're here. Look, I started the timer like a few seconds late too.
That's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Are we on the right camera? Yeah.
Here we go.
It is that one. Otherwise, we'd have to do it again. But
Oh man. Well,
Anyway.
hey, we're getting close to episode number 60. We're not there yet.
Wow.
We're almost
This is 58, right?
there. I think so.
right on.
Yeah. 58 episodes.
It's not the one you died.
Said it would never last.
This is crazy.
That's what we said on episode number 3.
Right.
I said it wouldn't last.
I died in episode 15.
No. Oh, God.
You are wearing a red shirt.
Galaxy Quest. I am. So, red shirt, dude.
Red shirt.
Yeah.
This is my lucky red shirt. I saw a shirt that said that. That cracked me up.
Hey, you guys are off of our script.
We are. Sorry.
There's no
We're ready
script.
to go
Bob's fault.
Star Wars, Star Trek memes, so.
Yeah, gotta find a few. All right, gotta roll around. We're gonna go ahead and start right over here with Miss Man right here, Mr. Morey White.
Wait.
I know that guy.
How are you doing, man?
Hi, I'm Morey White.
That's about right.
Right. Yeah, actually, I moved my office upstairs out of the basement. So, one, my back isn't hurting, so that's a good positive thing.
Because you moved your office upstairs?
Yes, I'm sitting on a softer couch.
Oh,
I'm sitting on the couch
Well,
with a couple of pillows behind me. It makes me
okay.
sit straight up.
I gotcha.
It is awesome, and actually my backside isn't hurting either.
Well,
'Cause
that's good.
I don't have an 8-hour chair.
Uh,
I could take one of these 8-hour chairs. Anyway, but moved up there. Had a good discussion with my boss today about the lesson.
Oh,
So-
what about yesterday's
About
lesson?
yesterday's lesson. So that was really kind of interesting. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
That was,
Life
that was
is
sort
good.
of an evil laugh I just gave. I didn't mean to.
Love is not fair.
Welcome to Delirious Monday on. Okay. Well, man, I'm glad you're doing well. Glad that you got moved up so you can see the world through the view and dominate. Do your whole world.
I'm there by the
scheme.
turtles. The turtle tank is right there.
nice.
Which is
Oh,
really
yeah.
nice. So, yeah.
Now I know what room you're in.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Upstairs, but not upstairs.
Yep, ground level, ish.
It's the bottom of the tri-level, but not
Bottom of the
basement.
tri,
Yeah.
but not the basement.
Roger
Yeah,
that.
there we go.
Okay, let's move along.
The garden level. I did not move my office today.
This is Bob Nelson, by the way. There he is.
Nelson.
How you doing, Bob?
Yes, let me introduce myself again. I'm Bob Nelson.
I've never introduced himself.
So, yeah, I didn't move my office, but I have a standing desk, so,
Oh, lucky.
yeah.
I need one of those. I have one at work. I should bring it.
They're handy, yeah. I like it. But yeah, it was a pretty easy day. That was tried to start out as a Monday, and then it didn't turn out like totally Monday-ish. So that was good. That was Friday, I guess. Long story. Anyway. But yeah, our Friday's the new Monday, so that's that's kind of the running joke right now. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, no, it was a good day. It was a great weekend. Got a bunch of garage stuff done. We had fun yesterday. The canopy went flying.
We'll talk all about it.
So cool.
Airborne.
Just a moment. We'll
Yep.
get into all
Did it
that.
actually go airborne?
It did go airborne.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute. Okay. It's pretty funny though. And frightening at one point.
So life's good.
Excellent. Tracy White.
Being useful.
Welcome back.
Pushed a button.
Welcome back to the
Big red shiny button. Thanks. The drill weekend was awesome as usual. Felt productive. I always like it. It's always a nice change of pace, like I said, but it's not very restful. I paranoid sleep. You wake up and, did I oversleep? No, it's only 2 a.m. Did I oversleep? No, it's only 3 a.m. Just one of those kinds of things. Kathy's sick. Yeah, she's been sick for several days now. We did have her tested last Thursday. She was negative for COVID,
Good.
negative for flu,
Good.
negative for strep, which means
You don't know what she has.
she's got just a good old-fashioned cold. Yeah, and is getting over
Jump in
it.
the air too.
But as a result of that, she's coughing all night long, so I didn't get very much sleep last night either, which is okay. I feel so bad for her.
You didn't kick her to the
Yeah.
couch? Oh.
No, are you
That
kidding?
would be bad.
No.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
I usually kick myself to the couch on those.
Well, I think she went and tried to sleep down on the couch, and it just wasn't working for her down there, and it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So she came back up. And if it's the same thing tonight, then I'll go. I don't know why she goes to the couch. Because we have other rooms.
There are other
beds.
beds.
Yeah, so I would probably go to another room with a bed in it. But
Then you have to fix the sheets. And
yeah, and that, you know what? So the couch it is. All right, Johnny,
How are you?
how are you?
This is real life, right? It's not a dream I'm still having.
It might be.
Just a dream.
I'm not sure.
Life is
What a fun dream.
Fun dream.
Are you tired?
I'm groggy. How about that?
Okay, it's real life then.
I went through there it is. I had a groggy dream last night. That wouldn't happen. No, it was, oh man. With the Monday, this is like a typical Monday in the sense of, not typical Monday, I mean a stereotypical Monday.
Like,
right? You get the rain.
you got a case of the Mondays?
Yeah, and you're tired and you're dragging along and all of that stuff too. So it kind of went through like a blur, but not like a fast blur. It was like a slow blur that just wouldn't end.
Wow.
No,
I get that.
but kind of.
Get that.
Well, I always know there's been a bit of a weary day when I come home and I'm like, I feel like lying down for a minute, which I hate. You guys know this, right? I hate the nap.
I did that today.
I did too, and that's why I'm still like, what?
Exactly.
It's like it's that horrible sound and that feeling when you have the alarm go off and you're like, oh, I gotta get up.
Mm.
But when you throw a nap into it, that happens more than once in a day. I don't like that. I gotta get up again. Oh, it's the
That's
same
actually a
day.
very good point. Very, very good point.
I wanted to just keep
And that's why we
sleeping.
typically avoid naps, right?
Absolutely. And I just feel that when I wake up too. So, but aside from that, let's see. Anything else going on today?
How's Leona?
Oh yeah. So this will be a good segue into yesterday. As we were tearing down, the backstory here is all stuff being loaded up. Everybody's moving around. The wind finally came in, and it was really strong. It's like by the time we left, and we were actually in the car driving home, there was just a light sprinkling of hardly anything. But the wind was really blowing. She was putting something into the car, and as she's standing there, the wind blew the door. The door knocked her into the car and the whiteboard, wheels side. I mean, she bonked her nose on something.
Yeah, she was thinking it was the door frame.
Okay,
itself.
well, maybe the door frame, but it was that side of the door anyway. But
So
either way, she was barely bleeding.
There's pictures.
profusely.
Wow. Well,
Check Facebook. There's pictures.
yeah, no, and I'm glad you told the story because otherwise people would think that you've been
It's me?
beating your wife. Yeah.
No, we had some of those jokes today from
Yeah, I
people
bet.
at school because I've heard her version, but let's hear what really happened. So look, if this has been a deal where it's just like, I've had enough, you woman, I'm like, I'd be the one with the bleeding. Let's just be
Leona,
clear
I
about
believe
this.
I remember she is from Alaska. She wrestled bears.
Dude,
That's right. And moose.
Love you, Leon.
Okay, I was going to say this because I noticed this in the podcast. Past couple of times, both of you guys, you're old Texas boys, is what's happening.
Yeah.
Here. In Deep East Texas, when it's like the second church that we were serving in. This is the kind of church that had a guy who had a nickname all his life. They called him Mutt, M-U-T-T, Mutt. But when he was at church, they called him Brother Mutt.
Brother Mutt.
All right. So it was a very countrified deal. It's like nobody showed up for a church thing when it was hay cutting season. It was that kind of. So, but they talked like this, and they called my lovely wife. They called her Leoner.
Leoner.
Hey, Leoner.
All right.
Nobody's gonna lay okay with this. So then I heard you guys. This has only happened the past few weeks. I've noticed both of you guys have said Leona. Leona.
Leona?
But her name is Leona.
Leona. Yeah.
Do I not say Leona?
I was
Just a couple
I
times.
was throwing a southern draw.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So,
Just
yeah.
Well, when you do, that southern might be coming out.
coming
bro.
out.
It's just we're only a half a step away from Leoner, and we
Wait a minute.
Leona.
Well,
Can you remember that for
Leona.
Thursday night?
I'll remember that.
Let's
when she
do that.
comes in, you guys just say hi, Leoner.
Hi, Leoner.
So she'll have seen this by then.
But see,
Spoiler alert.
you have to understand that my dad, his nickname was Bud,
Bud.
and they did call him Brother Bud.
I like it. Brother Mutt. Well, the funniest thing though about Brother Mutt is that his wife's name was Pluma. So again,
Feather.
They called her Brother Mutt and Plumer.
No. No, Puma's a pen.
Plumer. Oh my soul.
That's a pen.
A plume.
Oh, I went to
Nom
school.
de plume.
Anyway.
It's no big deal. It's no big deal. You guys want?
So she would have been the gnome de plumer.
No, the bloomer. Like a garden gnome?
Maybe.
Oh my!
Talk about in the weeds. Here we are.
And off the rails.
And that's where gnomes are.
Scene.
Us.
Rails. Us?
Back onto the script.
Yeah. Do we?
All right, let's talk about the script.
Screw
There's no
Didn't
script.
share that script.
Obviously, there's no script. We'd have started off a lot better if it had. All right, so let's talk a little bit about yesterday. That was the end of yesterday, really. That happened to her. Yeah, we decided sort of a last minute, within the week is last minute for sure, to do, but we actually made the call Saturday.
Yeah.
Because I just knew we were either going to be inside with, base camp, or we're just going to go ahead and be outside. And all weather reports, looked like we would be okay, give or take 30 or 40 minutes or so. Boy, talk about right on the money.
It was a miracle.
It was a miracle.
That's good.
It was sunny, it was beautiful, and light breeze.
And then it wasn't.
And then it wasn't at the end. But it was fun. I mean, it was chaotic, as we've had a number of times with Church in the Park. But like we were talking about before the podcast, it was all magnified a little bit, just different things, planes, just
Technical.
technical things that were happening. But oh, you know what? That was stuff that actually there at the moment, nobody
Yeah.
would know about. But just there, you can see it on the stream. Yes, we did have trouble with the stream, but you can tell a lot of distractions on Sunday.
A lot.
It's all right.
But it was still great. It was fun to see. What was startling to me is I looked out and I went like, 85% of the people here today are wearing the Compass Church shirt.
Literally, the only
What?
three the only people that were John and Sandrine and Marcella and their kids and stuff, and then you and and Melissa and Michael. Everybody else was wearing. Oh, and then I guess we can also Jaden wasn't.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
So.
I love the way Jaden, by the way, every time we do Church in the Park, she never has a lawn chair. Doesn't
Yeah, she
always
just puts a
puts
blanket
on a
out.
blanket, and it's like
That's great.
You actually have the right idea.
Something that Jaden mentioned, or got mentioned, I don't know if it was Jaden, but we need some Compass onesies.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't say that. That's
Because
right.
we got babies.
Oh, see, no, okay. That's another reason you were talking about doing baby dedication. There's not enough time, but that would have been a great,
There may be time.
quick, boom, compass onesie
We can do it with a
to every
maker.
baby.
Yeah.
A silence. Wheels
The
are-
the plotting thickens.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Normally, when we think, our mouths go silent, followed very quickly by our brains going silent.
Yeah, I think we just have
And then we
everything.
come back and go, what were you thinking about?
It's like everything just shorted out right there. Hey, that's like
It
that's one
happens.
thought too many today.
And we're done.
There you go.
It is Monday. That makes sense.
But I do love that idea of a compass onesie for little
That'd
babies.
be so cool.
Yeah, it'd be very fun.
Johnny, I had not seen the service until today, but because we did the spoiler last week on the love is not fair, right?
Love is not fair.
That whole thing, I was able to and happy to share that whenever I'm coming home, driving home from the Springs, I call Andy, Emily, and then mom and dad, right? And so whenever I was on the phone with Andy, I shared that with him,
Oh wow.
and I hope some of it at least stuck. you
Yeah,
know?
man.
But even though I hadn't seen the lesson yet, I got to share some of your lessons.
Yeah,
So, so there you go. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's that threefold idea, and again, because of all we were talking about this earlier, I know God will use, His word was shared, I prepared, did the best I could. You know what I mean? So it's all there. It's kind of a little hodgepodgey sounding because of the distractions or whatever. But I know that His word doesn't come back void, as Scripture says. At least King James
No doubt.
says it that way.
Right.
Void. It's never empty. It always, when it's communicated, it's always powerful in some way, and God will use His word. So we were definitely in His word on all of that, but I wanted to convey this idea that love is not self-seeking,
Right.
It's not selfish, doesn't demand its own way.
Yes.
Is the idea. And the default idea that follows from that is that it is not fair,
Right.
but indeed it is instead generous,
Yeah.
right? So when we are loving in all of our relationships the way God would want us to, and all of us, again, it's a challenge for all of us, right? Every day, every week, it's very hard unless we are just daily submitting to God and allowing Him to pour His love into us and let it overflow to people. I know it's a challenge, but it's generous. It means it's not, think of it this way, we always want justice for those who wrong us,
Right.
but we want mercy when we wrong others, right?
Right.
So we don't want fairness, we want mercy, we
Yeah.
want generosity. And God has demonstrated His love in an amazing way that we could never pay back. We could never, in any way, earn His favor or anything. And we want to be like Him. So that's where that idea is. It's that when you really begin to love, your end game is to outlove others. Right? So when you're out loving others, you're never offended that they didn't love you back enough.
Yeah.
So that's a very...
But not in an arrogant way, y'all. Actually, I thought about that. I was like,
But you can't by definition.
well, that's true. You were talking about the connection breakers, and so it's like, and one of them was, have you done?
Have you
the
done something
connection check?
that nobody ever knew you did?
No,
Is
it's
that
not.
one?
It wasn't the one. It was one. Anyway, I'm.
It was one of
sitting
the
here.
connection check questions?
Yes, it was, and I was thinking of examples because I'm a little inward reflection. Have I indeed, am I doing it the right way, and am I proud of doing this the right way? Ooh, because love isn't.
Well,
Am I gonna tell people
See,
that
that's
I'm pretty
fantastic.
sure I'm getting it right? Because that seems a little arrogant and boastful.
Okay, this is what's funny about
Of
that.
course I'm kidding. but-
Leon and I will kid around sometimes like that,
Yeah.
and we'll say, man, we sure are humble, aren't we?
My,
So, we should get an award for being the most humble of all.
my line on that is, I'm proud of my humility.
I'm proud of my humility.
So, Mom,
so funny.
you know this.
Yeah, I was gonna
so
bring it
our
up.
mom,
You don't.
because we joke as a family about this sort of thing,
Oh,
and so whenever we do things for each other, we're racking up servant points.
Right.
Servant points.
Mom calls them servant points,
Keep a tally.
which is great. Yeah. We don't. Obviously, we don't. Keep
Okay,
score.
so this big thing about gamifying, is in business right now, where you gamify things to challenge and make it fun. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say the Bible has gamified this idea, but there's some fun. There's a fun idea in that where we try to outdo one another in honoring one another.
Yeah.
And so it's a backward idea, but like even Paul said, you're my pride and joy. He said, to some of the people. Which was it? Let's see if you can do another Spock like.
Sorry, no, I'm like, I can't remember what he's thinking.
It's Philippians.
It is Philippians?
Pretty sure
it's
it's read that.
Philippians, yeah.
It feels like a
It's at the
Philippians
end of the
kind of
Philippians.
thing.
We'll look it up.
Yeah.
But talking to this church of his friends and people, some he's won to the Lord, some is a young church. But he said, "You're my pride and joy."
Yeah.
But see, you can say that in the context of genuine love, and it's not the prideful kind of
Right.
thing that
No,
God
yeah.
is talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand.
Difference
So-
between being proud of what you've done and being prideful of what you've done.
That's right. I said that in a joking way, and I don't want to confuse anybody that's watching it. Thanks for the clarification.
Roger that. And it makes me think of, it's like I used to think of like the speed limit. Let's say the speed limit's 50 miles an hour
Is it?
on that country road somewhere.
That's not a suggestion.
Now you're going to make me go into a whole different thing.
I know.
Look, only the red signs you have to follow. The white signs are suggestions.
Let's try this again.
Okay.
Let's say the speed limit is 75 miles an hour
We're getting close.
in a neighborhood. All right, whatever. Random thing. Whatever the speed limit is. Let's say it's 30 miles an hour. Okay, how about that? 30 miles an hour. And I used to think, okay, but if there are two cars sitting next to each other, and one guns it to 30, and the other takes their time to get to 30, did they speed? Were they going faster? Can you, between here and the time they get 30, were they going actually 100 to get to 30? Here's the answer. The answer is no.
Right.
Because you're never over 30,
Right.
no matter what. So it's the same thing with love and pride and that sort of thing. You can, if you're actually in love, it's never going to go into that sense of.
But if you gun it, you make it to the next light.
Now.
So you can stop quicker.
That's right.
It may have been too cerebral.
Yeah. And I can tell you, I got to ride in one of the guys in the Air Force. He has a Tesla Model X.
Ooh,
It was really cool. That thing can go, talking about speed, to 0 to 60 in like 2.7
You feel the G's
seconds.
on that?
Oh my goodness.
The only thing holding it back from going faster is they can't get tires to grip better.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
That's way off the
It's a
rail.
friction issue. Yeah.
So when you were
Sorry.
talking about out honoring each other, I hate to admit it, but the image of Chip and Dale, that cartoon, popped into my head. After you, sir. After you.
No. After you. Together then, let's. Then jumping on. That's all that usually pan out with it.
That's great.
Yeah.
I like it.
What else about yesterday? Because there was all kinds of stuff going on yesterday. What a fun! I will say this: the chaotic moment. I mean, as I'm leaving, I'm still like going, "God, thank you for allowing me to be part of Compass Church." It's
Right.
like there's fun stuff going on. There's craziness going on. It's chaotic. It's fresh every week.
Yeah.
And I'm just thankful to be a part of it. I'll tell you the truth.
Same here.
What were you about to say?
So, then there's the occasional Princess Bride.
That's what does it right there. It's always
What does
like
it
you're
for me?
coming.
True love. I liked how you talked about the generosity of love through God's demonstration, and I'm going to let him take over that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
With the,
Yeah. Because Are we on it? Huh. Because God so loved the world in this way that Bob's talking about and Johnny's been preaching about, that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him will not perish but have eternal life, get to spend eternity with God. Massive. John 3:16. Read it over and over and over and
But
over.
pivotal in that is God gave his son.
He sure did.
He didn't have to. They could have done anything. Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit could have done anything to get us where they wanted, but instead they gave him. And so,
Yeah, I love that it follows that way too. For God so loved that he gave.
That he gave.
He loved, and it resulted in him giving.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
It's generous.
That
It's
is
generous.
Ultimate generosity, right?
Yeah.
and he didn't give us what we deserved, like you pointed out. He gave us that mercy and that grace and that love.
Yeah.
So,
See, that just is what blows me away is that we would, without Jesus and that perfection, we would never be able to be in the presence of God. But because the perfect sacrifice was made, it gives us a chance.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Saying there's a chance. And then we have a Dumb and Dumber reference.
Uh-oh.
Help us, Lord.
We lost 3 viewers. All 3 of them.
We are no
All
longer.
3 of our viewers.
That's Tracy, me, and Bob.
That's
too.
right.
That's pretty much how many likes we have, right?
No. That's not. Well,
That's great.
sorry, I almost spit that.
I'm glad you didn't. Although it would
I'm
have
very
been
glad.
Oh, it would have been a spring. So, yeah, no, I've kind of lost my train of thought now, but
because you almost spit your coffee out. Yeah, that's okay.
it's coming back. Hang on a second.
We got it. It's on the line.
Got it. No, I ain't got it.
Snap.
Let's talk to
It'll
my
come
boss
back in a
today.
second. Let's keep going. It'll come back in a second.
I was talking to my boss today. He was talking about his neighbor and how they share a section of what do they call it, Xeriscape, and they kind of share that between the property lines, and his is perfectly weeded, and his parents came over to visit this weekend, and his mom said, "Sure can tell where your property line is." And I had been talking to him about, because he was complaining about it last week, about his neighbor not doing this. And I'm like, well, why don't you just pull the weeds for him? Because he was talking about she's hardly ever home anymore. I'm like, well, just pull the weeds. If they're driving you crazy, pull the weeds. And so whenever his mom said, I sure can see the line, it really convicted him.
Oh,
But it is the difference between that inward thinking
Yeah.
and outward thinking.
Yeah.
It is a
Yes,
very
yes.
different things. And I explained to him, I said, that the 2 greatest commands are to love God and then to love everybody else.
yeah,
And everything else depends on those 2 things.
yeah.
Everything else.
So they
And it's
hinges
a
on-
difference. It is a total difference of me versus everyone else.
Yeah.
And
Talk about not, self-seeking.
right, not self-seeking. That's
That's a tough but good and very practical, real situation. I mean, I remember sitting talking with a guy who'd been a Christian for many, many, many years, talking about reaching neighbors, reaching people, growing church, and then how suddenly he seems so critical of his neighbor not mowing enough and not doing this enough and it was sort of a disconnect, right, between what we say and then how we actually act. I mean, because what would happen if the guy woke up and, oh, my yard is mowed? I mean, would they be offended? Someone went over and did it. I mean, some people are weird but about these kind of things, but it is a different mindset. I did remember what I was going to say, and it had to do with the idea that it's also displayed in God's grace, right? So it's the whole idea of love going the extra mile. In fact, C.S. Lewis was asked once, this is sort of anecdotal, but about what they were having a conversation about different religions.
Yeah.
And they were trying to determine what was so unique about Christianity from other religions. You know, many religions have somebody who dies and maybe comes back to life and that sort of thing. And he was passing by, so they stopped him and asked him, "What do you think?" He goes, "What's that?" About, he probably had his pipe in his hand. And they said, what's unique about Christianity? He goes, "Oh, that's easy. It's grace." And then he kept walking, right? It's like one of those fun stories. Did it happen exactly like that? No, but I think he's on the record somewhere saying something about that.
That's awesome.
Well, it's like,
that's easy. It's grace.
It's grace, and it truly is. I mean, it is not how do I get to God? What do I do to earn His favor? How do I get into heaven? What do I need to do? It's all about not what we do, it's what He did on our behalf, right? So mercy is sort of the idea of, you're guilty of all this stuff, I will forgive you.
Yeah.
But sit in the back, and you need to remember, you might get to come to the table after we're done, right? It's that kind of, but grace is kind of like, you're forgiven, and by the way, come sit at the table. You're a part of the family. Get a good coat. Here's the best food. It's like, I don't deserve this. Exactly. Right. We don't, and it's a generous. It's one of those things that you can go your whole life and never wrap your head around, and that's the idea of God's grace. And it still boils back to that little facet of love. Love is not self-seeking. It doesn't demand its own way.
Right.
It's not fair. It's generous, and that's the concept, I guess, that I was trying to get at. But yes, it's also the idea of grace.
It's a tough
So
one.
I'm glad I had a chance to share it today, since I didn't get to really yesterday. But,
That's what you were going to say when the planes were flying over, right? Go Air
Which
Force.
time?
yeah, which time?
Yeah, seriously.
But so we did, to shift gears now, we've gotten really deep into this now, but
We're at 30.
perfect then. We're near the end. So yes, let's talk about the wind that did blow the canopy. Now we changed the setup, Tracy. We had the canopy with all the refreshments and stuff against the wall. And then instead of the other big white one, which is really weird that's broken already, but anywho, I got the little red one.
Yeah.
Okay, which I discovered is like 12 inches shorter for some reason.
About this high.
He kept hitting his hand.
But anyway, when the wind did finally kick in, there was a moment where I'm like, "Dad," I heard Dad, so it's Melissa. And Leona has one end, she has another, and I was, whoa. So I reached up and grabbed another. Were you there at that point?
Yeah, this is our big canopy.
Yeah, the big
red
white
one.
that's right.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, wow. And then I brought it back down. I went, wow, okay. And then I turned to go back away. And apparently they were all shouting at me to grab it again because it was like in the air.
Wow.
I was trying to take off.
Yeah, and I couldn't hear it because the wind was in my ear.
Let's put some strings on it and fly it.
That would have been a good kite moment. But
Oh, goodness.
then came the thunder.
Yeah.
So,
Hear
in
the
Franklin
thunder.
moment,
Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening.
I love it. I love. In fact, whenever we got the thunderstorm, it was, I want to say Thursday last week when it rolled through, maybe Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I was in here working, and I heard it, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome! I've been waiting.
it's not just snow, it's
Right.
thunder, rain.
It means the world's going to start coming alive." So anyway,
All right. Well, any final words before we go into our final words?
if you're gonna, it better be quick.
We're going to run.
You know what? You can join us every Sunday at 10 a.m. You can join us online, usually. At every now and then,
When it's working.
stuff happens. Things happen sometimes.
Tracy wasn't there.
10 a.m. Facebook Colorado Compass Church Colorado on Facebook. You can also discover more at compassdenver.com. We'd love to have you as our guest this Sunday, where we will be meeting in person at Arkansas Elementary School right here in Aurora, Colorado.
Purpose.
What'd you
On
say?
purpose.
So we'll be meeting on purpose.
Purpose.
In person on purpose.
On purpose.
All right, so here we are now at the final words.
Love you guys. Love everyone else out there.
Love you guys on purpose, in person, not on purpose.
On purpose?
But no likewise. Even all the people.
Oh, sorry, likewise.
Peace, y'all.
Grace and peace to you. That's all we have for tonight, and we are out.
Very
Pointless. Not
Pointless.
pointless.
You forgot your line.
Back to the script.
We don't have a script.
Oh.